All right, so let's do some problems together. So we're going to go ahead and do this subnet problem. And let me just write it down. So 10.34.10 subnet mask. I'm just writing it down on the iPad. 255.255.40.0. And the information that I want, right? We want to know the network address, broadcast address, usable range, and number of subnets. It's a lot of information, but this is where our block size method is going to come in handy. Right? Block size method, remember. Block size method, and here we'll give it in dotted notation, and this in slash notation is actually going to be, so 16, 240, 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, 14, 15. Okay, so this is 20 actually. So this is slash 20. Okay. So start off with the block size method. So 256 minus the interesting octet, which is 240. We're working in the third octet, right? We're working in the third octet. So we're going to be jumping by 16. So we're given the IP here. So focus on the third octet. So 10.25.34.10. Right, so 34, 16, that's 2. And then we have a remainder of 2. Right, so the first network is 10. This is just why that happened. 10.25.0.0 to 10.25.15.0, 10.25.16.0, 10.25 to 31.0, 10.25 to 32.0, 10.25 to 40. First one. So this one is going to belong to this one, right? So, and then the next one that follows is just going to be 10.25.1648.0, 10.25.16, 4, 5, 53.0. Okay. So it's going to be in this one, right? And I forgot to mention this, but the broadcast address, the simplest way to do it is to just subtract 1 from the next network. What I mean by that is next network is we'll subtract 1 from 10.25.48.0. That's just going to give us 47.255, right? So when we go from, once this hits 255, we add 1 here, right? This jumps to 48. All right, so we know our broadcast address is this. Network address is going to be the first address, right? And that's going to be 10.25.32.0. Usable host range is going to be what is in between that, right? What's in between the network and the broadcast, right? That's a usable host range, right? Number of subnets is what's next, right? And this IP 5.34.10, and then we're given /20, right? Remember, borrowed bits is, sorry, given mask minus default mask per class. And then number of subnets is 2 to the power of borrowed bits. So we're working with a class A IP address, right? It's going to be large number of subnets, right? So we have the given mask is 20. The default mask for a class A is 8. It's going to be 12. So number of subnets can be 2 to the power of 12, which I'm going to use a calculator for that. 1 second. That is 4,096 subnets, right? So we have everything right here, right? We have our broadcast address here, network address, usable host range, and the number of subnets, right? I don't know why that happened. Usable host range, network address, and the broadcast address. Okay, so let's work on the last problem. Try to keep it as clean as possible. I know it's a little messy. So IP address, I'm just writing it down. 192.168.50.130. Subnet mask is 255.255.192, which that's going to be 24, and it's going to be /26. Okay. And they're asking us for the same information, right? The network address, the broadcast address, usable host range, and the number of subnets. So let's start with the block size method. And as we know, 256 minus 192, which is in the 4th octet, right? 4th octet. That's an interesting octet. So it's going to jump by 64. Right? So this is going to stay the same, right? This is the network portion, and the host portion is going to change, right? So the first network is going to be 192.168.50 to 192.168.50 to 63. 192.168.50 to 64 to 192.168.50 to 127. That's going to be 128. 192.168.50. Okay, that's 12, 8, 9. Okay, so 192 and 192.168.50 to 191. And I'm going to stop there. Okay, 192 plus 64, 6, 15, 256, 255. Okay. So which subnetwork does this one belong to? It's going to belong to this one right over here, right? Because it's dot 130. It's going to belong to this one, right? Remember, our network address is going to be the first address, right? Network address is going to be the first address. Broadcast will be the next network minus 1. Next network minus 1, which is just 192.168.50.191. It's easier when we're working in the fourth octet than when we're working in other octets to figure out the broadcast. It's still easy either way, but it's easy in the broadcast because it's basically the same as the last one. So the usable host range is just going to be 192.168.50.129 to 192.168.50 to 190. All right, so it's going to use a host range, and now what? The number of subnets, right? Remember our equation: 2 to the power of borrowed bits, where borrowed bits is given mask minus class default mask. And we're working in, this is a class C, I believe. So 0 to, yeah, this is the class C. So this has a 24. And then we have /26. So borrowed bits, 2 to the power of 2. It's going to be 4. So number of subnets, 4 subnets, right? And we're all done. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop a link for resources. It's a website that I really recommend you use to get some more practice on subnetting. And they also have just a couple videos you can watch. This is part 1, and I'm going to go ahead and go over communication when devices within the same subnetwork, and then communication when devices are not within the same subnetwork in the video that's to come. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps.